Get more perspective on the terror plot arrests. We bring in former Assistant Director of Cleveland Homeland Security, Richard DeChant. Thank you very much for being with us today. So it appears, at least on the surface of things, that this group was not particularly well organized and perhaps not very smart. Is it a mistake to think that?
You have to be careful in assuming that, because one of the things terrorist groups, well, we're not even sure this was terrorist, but anarchist groups like this, they play on randomness. So you may think their activities were kind of scattered, but at the same time, that may have been very deliberate to throw people off the trail, that they waited till the last minute to try and pick a target.
The affidavit lists a variety of potential targets. Did they really plan to hit all of them?
Tough to say, but the anarchists were so scattered in their thinking. They wanted to make a statement, and they were grasping at anything and everything based on what I read in the affidavit. So the key in all of that, though, they were motivated to do something.
I think what a lot of people are wondering is why this particular bridge?
Hard to tell if, in reading the affidavit, there were obviously some other locations they were looking at. I think in this case, ease of access, and from what I read in the affidavit, there was the one approach where they felt they could get to the bridge without being discovered as to what they were doing.
This undercover operation apparently began sometime last summer, and it is somewhat common for investigations like this to take a long period of time.
It is, because you want to be sure of all your facts, you want to be sure you're validating where the information's coming from. Is this a hoax? Are these folks, and is this plot for real? And it's a real tribute to the FBI and other law enforcement agencies that were involved in this day of drones and high-tech investigation. This was just good, solid, shoe leather, undercover work that paid off.
In any case, because of the significance of this day, certainly law enforcement, Homeland Security is on high alert anyway.
When you're in Homeland Security and law enforcement, you kind of look at the calendar every month, and there are key dates. This time of year, specifically the one-year anniversary of bin Laden, May Day celebrations as well, is an area where you're always on alert, but it's kicked up a notch.
So we've got these 5 people now in custody. Is it your sense there could be other arrests related to this case?
Oh, I'm sure that will be part of the investigation as other agencies step in. I would suspect, for example, the Secret Service will have a high interest in these 5, because if you look at the affidavit, they talked about upsetting the political conventions and maybe candidates traveling across Ohio. So I would suspect, now that they're in custody, numerous agencies are going to be looking at these gentlemen.
Well, we really appreciate your time. Richard DeChant is the former Assistant Director of Cleveland Homeland Security.
Thanks
for talking to us about this event today.